We know that it has an emotional impact. We know that neurological development in the early years of life is critically important. And we know that music can stimulate that development. On a very personal level, we know that music affects our brain because when we listen to music, we make a choice. We choose the type of music we listen to, and that affects how we're feeling, and how we're feeling affects how our brain functions.
If I'm asked to write a piece of music with words, I would try and get underneath the meaning of the words and I would think about the elements, harmony, tempo, texture, and see how all of those things affect things. The dynamics of a piece, so if it's loud, there'll be lots of energy and therefore lots of decibels. So it has a physical effect. It'll hit you. It doesn't necessarily make you happy. It might be incredibly powerful and anxiety making in its nature.
The music is used in therapy as a non-verbal form of communication. So, in a very basic level, it can be used just to make a connection. If one of my clients was to play a note on the drum, and I was to play a note on the drum that corresponded, in that moment they know that they are heard. They know that they exist. They know that what they have said, albeit in a non-verbal way, has been heard and perhaps understood. So that's the starting point. And sometimes with my clients I will set about writing a song. I'm thinking specifically about a young man who was going through his teenage years, and over a number of weeks we wrote a song together about all the things that change as you're growing up. And that gave us a chance to think about all sorts of difficult stuff that teenagers have to go through. But I wasn't sitting there saying, right, we need to talk about adolescence. We were just singing. So making up songs can form a very good container. And I think we don't always know what it means. We don't know why a piece of music is important or exactly what someone's getting out of it, but you can see it's holding an emotional state or allowing emotional processes to unfold.
If I'm listening to a symphony, that's another genre at the other end of the spectrum, then I will be pulled from one mood to another. It could be a long-term thing. It could start serene, like the beginning of Mahler's Fourth Symphony, slow movement, and within that's 25 minutes long, and in about the 18th minute it just goes hell for leather. It's an outbreak of complete joy.
And a lot of children do talk about the fact that they feel better after music. So if they're saying it improves their mental well-being, it must be true.
Oh my god, I know this song from somewhere.
I didn't know the song, so possibly, I suppose that you associate songs with time.
Recognition, but also quite happy, like it cheered me up.
Smiling nostalgically, like... It's quite calming.
It was calming, I felt.
Quite calming.
It was just kind of neutral.
And quite sad.
It's sad.
I liked it.
I didn't really like it. It didn't feel like music, really. It didn't make me happy or sad or anywhere in between.
Kind of angry.
I just found that music so funny. Do you know it's going to be some kind of like angry song?
I found it quite funny, to be honest.
This is very angry.
It's like a study room.
I didn't really like it or want to listen to it as well.
Quite angry. My mood sort of stayed the same.
It was quite full on. I think so. Very calming.
To start with, it was nice and calming, and then I suppose it made you a little bit more, like you felt like something was going to happen.
Immediately it was quite calm, quite relaxing. It got a little more sort of, not necessarily angry, but yeah, worrying.
Rousing.
At first, I thought it was like really sad, and then it'd be like really calm and slow. But then, like, it didn't come like angry, but it came more like anxious and like fear.
At the beginning I was quite like calm, and I was like, oh, it's a happy piece. But then later on, which is your next question, it was really quite like powerful. So then I was like, oh, well then I was angry. It was a whirlwind of emotion.
Calm.
And it felt calming.
It was quite calming.
This is pretty. When I realised what song it was, my mood suddenly went all kind of calm.
Calm. It's quite like neutral.
At first I was kind of like, oh yeah, it's like a happy violin, but then I realised it was like a sad violin. It was the calming classical.
Because it makes me feel better, I like it, and it helps me relieve stress.
I like listening to music to pass the time, particularly on public transport when you just feel like you need a soundtrack to life.
I listen to music pretty much all the time because it reminds me, it brings up different memories depending on what kind of music I'm listening to, and it puts me in a relaxed state.
I listen to music because it's relaxing, and I like listening to classical music while I write essays, and I also like listening to other kinds of music for fun.
I listen to music because it's my life. It makes me feel happy, it makes me feel sad, it can determine your emotions as well as sort of take you out of certain emotions.
I started this project with hopes to find out more about the connection between music and mood. As I researched further, I found that there's significant connections between teenagers' music and mood. I decided to create an experiment using 6 17 to 18-year-old girls to try and chart their reactions to different pieces of music from different genres in order to find more of an understanding about what effect the music had on their mood. What was interesting was that although they all reacted to the music differently, there were some pieces of music that made them feel overall calm, overall angry, happy or sad. I also found that prior knowledge of songs affected how people reacted to the music. For example, with the Katy Perry song, everybody knew the song and everybody decided that it made them feel happy. This may be just the song, but I think it's interesting to also consider the influence that this song triggered memories for them about their youth and childhood. By asking 5 17 to 18-year-old girls why they listen to music, it's given me more of an insight into the various different reasons people use music. This shows that teenagers don't just listen to music for one universal reason, but each have different individual reasons for doing so. In light of this, I feel like teenagers can use music to improve their state of mind and improve their everyday well-being. My suggestion would be to use the moments you do have for listening to music, either on public transport or whilst you're doing your homework, to listen to music that makes you feel the most relaxed or calm and happy. What I think should also be considered is, as Alexia Quinn said, music is a way of communicating with others. This project has taught me that music is almost like a universal language. So, even though this project focuses on teenagers, music is something universal that both adults and teenagers feel and understand, therefore connecting them together. Another interesting thing I thought that was mentioned was the ability to write a song, because from personal experience I find that writing music also helps to get out some of the emotion you feel inside and talk about things that you might not want to talk about in everyday life. This is also seen in Mr. Gritton's composing, as he shows that he uses composition to show different moods and different emotions through his music. I think music has the amazing capability to make you feel a multitude of different emotions, and all you need to do is listen.